Can you
I
hear
just
me?
clicked. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is phenomenon.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It feels like I know, it just feels like you're still here. It's crazy. Hey everyone, it's poppingjutsu from the UK. Just here to do a talk. I'm watching a battle, Street Dance of China with my homie. Yeah, and I'm ready to go.
Hey, cool, let's go.
Shadow's dope, man. I've met Shadow so many times. Such a nice guy. Got a crazy hip hop style, man. You know, for me, when you get a style versus style, it's always a hard thing because it's like hip hop has a certain way of moving and popping has a certain way of moving. So you always get this whole thing of like, down to what the judges prefer. Yeah, that round was cool.
Do you think that's because popping just has more advantage than hip hop in terms of battling?
Oh no, definitely not. Popping is good and it works, but I think, hip hop doesn't have as many boundaries. Hip hop now uses popping. Hip hop now uses glides. Hip hop now uses like kind of bone breaking, breaking. It uses a whole load of things. So hip hop definitely for me is more versatile for competitions. However, it depends on the beat. You get a beat like that's like just is made for like popping or has that accent that poppers can find, and then poppers are just gonna go crazy. It depends on the beat. Shadow is dope at what he does as well, but I can see why they voted for Sean. He's very entertaining to watch. He understands the system of battling, and he's got these sort of what you would call blow ups. He knows how to please the crowd. The crowd pleases. You know what I mean? So yeah, that round was cool.
Okay, let's continue then. Second.
Hey, nice. Hey, very nice. Oh, draw.
One vote.
I gonna say I think on this particular one, Dickens took it. You could see it in Sean's round, that he was cool, but you could see the energy wasn't as high as he was in the other rounds. Whereas obviously Dickens is fresh energy, and I just think overall, like the creativity that he came with, I would have given it to him. But again, it was close. It's interesting because I know that beat as a popping beat, but they've edited it to make it more hip hoppy. But when you hear the like how it usually sounds, it's straight for the poppers, which is interesting. But I would have been happy to say one more round, and seen them go through it again.
Next round.
Hey, very nice. Ooh, very nice. Hey. So yeah, with this one, I think it was like Sean. He's seasoned in battling. You can just see it. You know what I mean? He's got the entertainment down. He understands when to use his blow ups. He understands, like, for example, the bit where it went dun 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 dun. He's like he knew it. He knew it was coming. You know what I mean? And part of the game of battling is to know your songs, know your beats, and again, he didn't lock, but he used elements of locking. Like, for example, like when he's on the floor, like boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of like he's got like a bag of tricks. And then like he's like, okay, what are you doing? All right, I got something for you. I've got this and this and this, and he knows how to use it very well.
Nice.
It's good.
So overall, what do you think about Sean? Like he's only 18, by the way.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. You know what I mean? It's like, again, like each generation, the battlers get younger and they get better because they have more information than the last generation. You know what I mean? It's like when I first started, we didn't have YouTube. YouTube wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? So yeah, I remember like asking my mom, like, oh, can I borrow your credit card so I can buy a video
Oh
cassette
my
from
God.
America? You know what I mean? To
You
learn.
said the same thing as the guy I interviewed like last week for the same bit. Yeah, you're from the same generation, and they're saying like back then in China, no dance studios, no teacher, and they have to
Yeah.
find videos from America basically in Japan.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the younger generation have access to a lot more information. So they get better quicker. However, they don't have like the experience of, like, for example, if you've only got like maybe 2 or 3 I guess things, you have to stick with those 2 or 3 things for like a long time, and it allows you to develop and make them the foundation really good,
I see.
because there was nothing else to go on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got, like, again, this is the one of the problems with social media, is there's so much information given to you. Sometimes you're not sure, you learn too quick. For me anyway, people learn too quick. And again, so when you come against someone that's done the longer, slower journey, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a lot different. Again, the slower the journey, the more you'll learn. So I'm interested to see 18, where he's going to be at when he's 20, because there's a lot of big fish. There's so many big fish out there.
That's so. Yeah, you mentioned like how the younger generation right now having like a lot of information.
Yeah.
What do you think about the young generation in general in dance?
They need to remember their basics and their foundation. They need to remember that what is new doesn't mean it's always better.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Some people are so quick to say, "Oh, that's old, that's old, that's old." You know what I mean? But if it wasn't for the old school, there wouldn't be the things that you have now. And I think sometimes as well, it's all about going back and revisiting the history books. You know what I mean? Again, I learn from the new school as much as the old school. But the thing is, now you can find tons of new school. The old school is slowly disappearing. You know what I mean? They're slowly disappearing. So you need to sort of understand, like, some of the things that the old school have to offer, because again, it will change the way you think. There's a reason why some of the old school people, when you always hear like, oh, back in the day, this guy was the top guy, or this old school OG was like crazy. You know what I mean? And whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh, I need to find out, why was he crazy? What was he bringing to the table? And then it's like, oh, and then when you go back and you see some of the videos, you're like, okay, I can understand. This is what he was doing then. No one else was doing it then. So it's good. It's all about revisiting the history and understanding. And I always think as well, you've got, like, I was having this conversation and I was saying it's important to understand, like, throughout each culture, you can learn things as well. You know what I mean? So I always say, like, from a technical point of view, whenever I see like Japan or China or Korea, you know what I mean? From a technical point of view, it's like the level is always so high. It's like they practice so much. You know what I mean? They practice so much, and you're like, God, that's so technical. You know what I mean? But for me, where they have high technical, they sort of miss the groove a little bit sometimes. You know what I mean? The grooving and the character. And whereas if you suddenly go to, I know, you go to like America, you know what I mean? You go to America and like the home of hip hop, and like African American culture, you know what I mean? They have so much groove and so much character. You know what I mean? They're not really technical because they don't think that way. You know what I mean? They don't think in that way as maybe like Asia does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you look at it and you understand that, you're like, okay, I want this to happen. I want people to understand this. It's like, okay, if I want to get technical, sometimes I need to, study maybe Asia. If I want to like understand like character, groove, soul, the street dance culture, I need to go back to America. You know what I mean? So again, it's always about understanding not only younger and older generation, but obviously different cultures and why they move the way they do. Yeah. Long explanation.
That's so true. Yeah, I feel the same actually, especially recently when I got back for 2 months right? Like
Yeah.
I feel so much different than before. Like, because last year when I got that vibe, even in popping class, it's a technical
Yeah.
class, but we're trying to understand everything, or not everything, but understand the music. At least
Yeah.
this year, like when I get back, everything's so technical compared to what I did like in the past year in London. Here, what everyone does is like they focus so much on techniques. It's
Yeah.
good for me because that's what I like, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't dance that much in class as before. Right now, I'm trying to execute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like what you just said there is a prime example of what I'm talking about, like the culture difference. And what's amazing is that you've had a taste of like London, and now you've moved to China, and now you have a taste of China. And if you can mix them, you know what I mean? You're gonna go full on beast mode because again, technically you'll be like, whoa, and then like you'll have like sort of a freedom of, you know what I mean? That's what you understand now what I'm talking about. That's good.
Yeah.
No, this is fun. It's good. You know what I mean? I think it's good always to have these conversations and talk about what we think about dance and other dancers and stuff. You know what I mean? It's healthy.
That's true. I learned so much by just not interviewing, but doing the thing with other choreographers and dancers. They told me so because they're all from your generation. So basically, they had a lot of experiences in dance world, and yeah, because I started dance like just recently, like less than 5 years. But yeah, you guys, you have seen so much, like maybe for
Yeah.
years or so. So yeah, it's just so interesting to know how you guys think about or perceive dance versus how
Yeah.
you see it because it's so different. Yeah, I learned so much.
Well, that's the thing, you know, I think this is sometimes something that's missing. It's like you got to have conversations with people, you know, because it's like you said, older generation, younger generation, you have these conversations and then you're like, oh, I never thought about it like that.
That's so
You know,
yeah.
exactly. It's unlocking like kind of ideas and puzzles, and you start thinking differently, and you go, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
No worries, no worries. Keep on your journey, and I hope to see more and more of what you're doing.
Okay, thank you. See you
No
next time.
worries.
If
See you
we
later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.